everybody. We are going live on the Moducare page here, and we have our special guest, Lorna Vanderhaeghe, joining us shortly. We haven't done a live in I think in about a month and a bit, so we are going to do a little recap on what Moducare is, what it can be used for, and we're also going to touch on today a little bit on inflammation and on skin conditions. So if you have any questions at all, make sure you do put them into the comments and we can follow along and make sure we answer every question that you may have for today's live. Also, if you are not already following KidStar Nutrients, do make sure you go over to that Instagram page and click follow. You can even give Lorna Vanderhaeghe also a follow as well, so you can stay up to date on all the education and everything. So we are just going to wait a few more minutes before she joins us. Also, if you are watching right now, let us know where you are watching from. Canada, abroad, what province, what city, and maybe let us know what the weather's like where you are. There she is. Wonderful. How are you doing today?
Awesome. How about you? It's so hot and sunny, my favorite time.
I know, it's beautiful outside. And it's great to be talking about what we're talking about today, which I did give the listeners a little bit of a little overview of today. So of course, we're going to go over who we are and then what Moducare is, a little bit about inflammation, and of course, some skin conditions, especially because it's so hot outside. Everyone's wearing tank tops. So, we could be a little bit, self-conscious if we have any skin conditions. So it's a great time of year to be talking about how we can prevent this from occurring. So I am Caitlyn Vanderhaeghe, President and CEO of KidStar Nutrients. KidStar Nutrients is the exclusive distributor of Moducare. So that is the connection there. Also, I've been taking Moducare since 1997. I love the product. I will be a lifelong Moducare user. And of course, our special guest today is Lorna Vanderhaeghe. She is also my mother. She wrote The Immune System Cure and the Healthy Immunity, back in 1998. I think we need another copy of that book soon. It's definitely needs a rework there, Lorna.
Yes, it needs an update. Absolutely, for sure. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself for people who don't know me. I am a nutritional health expert. I have a master's of science in nutrition and biochemistry. I had created a line of women's natural supplements under the brand Lorna Vanderhaeghe Health Solutions, which I sold to Jameson in 2014, so almost a decade now.
Wow,
a long time. And I've authored 13 books on nutrition, everything from the immune system to heart disease to arthritis to women's health to beautiful skin. And it's a great day to talk about the immune system and its relationship to skin disorders and inflammation. And I don't think people know what inflammation is. We use this word all the time. Oh, it's inflammation. Oh, I have inflammation. But inflammation is a good thing when it happens in the short term. It's actually a response by your immune system. So everybody has an immune system. If you didn't, you'd have to live in a bubble because you require this immune system to survive. And your immune system helps seek, recognize, and destroy cancer cells all day long. It is involved in protecting you from viruses and bacteria and fungi and other invaders that get into the body when you eat food and when you touch your finger to the corner of your eyes, nose, and mouth. So the immune system is made up of organs and tissues and little tiny cells and immune factors that you can only see under a microscope. So it's quite a complicated system. It's the majority of it, 70%, sits in your gut. Why does it sit in your digestive system? Because you eat a lot of invaders all day long. And so that's probably the reason why. It's also because the gut and the brain communicate with each other. So when it comes to inflammation, what is it? Inflammation is the immune system's first response to injury or invaders, because one of the largest immune organs is your skin. So your skin covers the whole body. It is packed with your immune system because, of course, because it's your protective coating. If something happens to your skin, this is a way for bad things to get into the body. And we know, if you ever got a really bad cut or something on your skin, you'll see it get bright red around the edges, and then it'll swell up, it'll ooze, These are all things, the immune system. So when the immune system views an invader, it sends out this inflammatory response, and things get red, hot, painful, and swollen. And these are responses of the immune system to heal the area. If it was your ankle that you sprained, then your immune system would make it get red, hot, painful, and swollen. So you sit down, put ice on it, and raise it up and don't walk on it. If it's the skin, that's because it's trying to heal that damaged area. So the inflammation is good. It's a good response, but when it becomes chronic and happens continually over and over and over again, this is when we get things like eczema, psoriasis, heart disease, arthritis. In the worst case scenario, that inflammation is linked to autoimmune diseases, where the immune system becomes very confused, and instead of protecting you or attacking a virus or a bacteria, it turns on the body and it attacks tissues. So it can attack the skin like it does in psoriasis, or it can attack the joints like it does in rheumatoid arthritis, or it can attack all kinds of tissues in the body. And we have multiple different names for those autoimmune diseases, which really is an overactive immune system, an immune system that is on hyperdrive, not a good thing.
And as you were actually saying that, I caught two things. First was psoriasis. I don't know if anybody out there has it that's listening, but it's very uncomfortable, as well as, of course, you can be very self-conscious about it, but it's also very uncomfortable. And also the skin is broken. And as soon as you said your skin was your first defense, and so once you break that all apart, of course, then you're going to have more invaders coming in. Then is that basically what you're saying, is all this broken and skin is the defense system is now down, and you have an autoimmune issue with inflammation. So like that just compounds the problem.
It does. It's why skin conditions like psoriasis are so hard to treat. Now, the body's brilliant. It says, okay, there's this problem with the skin. We'll give it a name, psoriasis. So the immune system says, hey, lay down more and more and more skin, because it's got to protect you. It's got to protect the area. And that's why you end up with those white scales that get packed, and, you know, they can be quite deep.
They are.
People who have really severe psoriasis can end up with these white scales that are 1/4 of an inch deep on the skin and deeper. And I've seen people with them on their psoriasis patches on their elbows that are 1/2 inch thick. So, you know, the body is smart. It's like, hey, I'm trying to fix this problem. Well, they're over fixing it, creating way too much inflammation, laying down too many skin cells. But putting something topical on it, it's going to keep it moist, but it's not going to solve the problem. We need to get in there and get our immune system to become balanced. Because if you have a hyperactive immune system, that's when you get things like allergies, asthma, eczema, psoriasis, arthritis, autoimmune conditions, hives. This is an overactive immune system. We want to calm it down. We don't want to boost it. You never want to take an immune booster. That would not be a good thing. We want to bring your immune system back into the normal range. Then on the flip side, we have a weak immune system. That's when people get colds, flus, they're always sick, they get cancer. Their immune system is not doing a good job protecting us. So you end up with a seesaw where it's, you know, crooked. We want it to be like this. We want the immune system to be strong, but not so strong it's attacking your body. And we want it to be calm and doing its job properly. So if it needs inflammation, it does it for a little bit, but it doesn't go on for months and years. And the way we do that is we use a product called Moducare. And you said you've been taking Moducare since 1997.
Yes, I have.
I had the wonderful opportunity, the reason why all of my kids did, and my friends and everyone that I love and care about. I got to spend a lot of time with the researchers who developed Moducare. Mr. Liebenberg, who is no longer with us, but he was a brilliant man who really paid attention to how people in Africa were treating themselves with plants. And so Moducare originally came from plants, and they were doing research for arthritis and all kinds of autoimmune conditions and HIV/AIDS and tuberculosis and hepatitis C. very, very serious conditions, cancers. And they were doing research in Germany where they had an ingredient called Harzol, which is basically Moducare, that was a prescription drug for prostate problems in men, prostatitis, and enlarged prostate, as we know as benign prostatic hypertrophy, or BPH. And what Moducare does is it balances the immune system. Well, they were doing a ton of research, clinical studies, because they wanted to become a drug. And then when they came to North America around 1997, one of the things that they learned is that because it was a natural product, they could basically bring it to market without going through the massive drug process. That is why we are so lucky to have this ingredient in Moducare as an over-the-counter, not a drug. But their research originally was all being done so that this product could become a drug. Yeah. And thankfully for all of us, they didn't go down that route. They did all the research as if they were going down the drug route. But it is an incredible product for balancing the immune system. And you know because you've seen the testimonials of people who were super allergic to cats and dogs who now can have a cat and dog in their house. They stay on Moducare. People who were on very powerful immune suppressing drugs like Humira, who are now off Humira and using Moducare every day to support their body for things like rheumatoid arthritis.
Well, and even the testimonials of the parents whose kids the sick days just dropped. They went from constantly being sick when they went back to school to, oh, the kids haven't been sick for the last month and a half. And then they say, well, what's changed? And of course, it was adding Moducare in their supplement routine. So, everything from as small as less colds and flus all the way up to being able to get off those types of drugs. Like, it is an amazing product for the spectrum that it covers.
Right. And so let's talk about these skin conditions, because you started out with that, and that's so true. We've had family members with terrible eczema where they didn't want to wear shorts in the summer because of this. And the reason why I got involved in nutritional medicine was because of eczema. So eczema is caused by an overactive immune system. You'll see people with these red patches on their elbows, maybe around their neck. Some people get it around their eyes and their mouth. It's terrible. It's an overactive immune system. So the immune system is overreacting to things like foods, tomato sauce is not good, citrus, wheat, dairy products, as well as detergents. So topical irritants also are bad. It's caused by a bacteria on the skin called Staphylococcus aureus. And it's an overgrowth of that because the immune system's not doing its job of keeping that under control. So if you have psoriasis, which is an autoimmune disease, or eczema, you need to be on Moducare to get your immune system to calm down the inflammation, but also make the part of the immune system that fights bacteria stronger. And here's another really cool thing, because whenever I do these talks with you, I go and do a little bit more research. And today I was thinking, I bet there's a connection between the hormone DHEA and eczema. And one of the things Moducare does is it lowers cortisol. So cortisol is your stress hormone, which causes immune system dysfunction. So if you are always stressed or under a lot of pressure, and stressors can be something like horns honking, driving in traffic, living in a house that is got, not so good energy happening in it, or working for a boss that you don't like, or money stress. Stressors are a whole bunch of things. They cause your cortisol levels to go up. Well, the immune system uses cortisol and DHEA. So in the research that was done using Moducare in marathon runners who are under horrific stress, one of the things they found is that when they took Moducare, their cortisol levels normalized and their DHEA elevated. So DHEA is your mother hormone. All your hormones are made from it. And it is an anti-aging hormone. It is a powerful anti-inflammatory hormone. So in eczema, they've actually done research where they gave severe eczema sufferers DHEA, which is the hormone. It's a prescription drug in Canada. Well, one of the great things about Moducare is that it normalizes your cortisol. It brings your DHEA up naturally. So your body makes its own and you don't have to take a prescription drug. And I think it's incredible because now we know that there's a connection between eczema and low levels of DHEA, a weak immune system. So let's get our immune system nice and strong and balanced. And just because it's summer, don't stop taking your nutrients.
Yes.
It's shocking to me what people do. Oh, it's July and August.
It's like vacation time.
And then what happens is your kids go back to school, you go back to work, we're all back to our stress. You haven't been on your nutrients for 6 weeks, and then you're sick. Everybody gets sick the second week of September. And I'm like, well, sure, you stopped taking all your supplements because you thought, oh, I feel good. I'm eating fruits and vegetables. I'm in the sunshine. I don't need to take my nutrients. Well, when it comes to your immune system, you need to support it every single day because we are really being attacked by all this inflammation that is occurring due to our stressful lives and bad food and other things that we're exposed to.
That's true. And when you were talking about reducing cortisol and increasing the DHEA naturally, I wanted to point out that Moducare will not drop your cortisol too low, and it will never increase. It will not ever get back out. It keeps it in balance, correct?
Yes. Well, this is why Moducare, the MODU is for modulate. What does modulate mean? It means if something's high, it gets normalized. If something's low, it gets normalized. It's called modulation. And so Moducare does that with cortisol and DHEA. You know, a lot of people who are health conscious know about adaptogenic herbs, things like ashwagandha and rhodiola, and they take these to bring their cortisol down. Because we all have ramped up cortisol, especially if you're that person who wakes up in the middle of the night and can't fall back to sleep, your cortisol's off the map. This is very common, especially in women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. They just don't sleep because their cortisol is so jacked up from their stressful life. So Moducare, although we talk about it a lot for balancing the immune system, keeping these diseases at bay, supporting us so we fight colds and flu, it is very important for keeping that DHEA cortisol seesaw in balance as well, which of course is associated with your immune system, which is why it works so well. So it's all interconnected. And you're absolutely right. For people who had asked us last time you and I did an Instagram live on Moducare about this, could you create a problem for your cortisol? I don't think there's anything that'll lower your cortisol that much. I don't even think the drugs work like that. So we don't have to worry about that. But, you know, back to these skin conditions, you know, psoriasis and eczema sufferers also tend to have more food allergies. They have more, you know, topical allergies, they can't use certain laundry detergents. And, you know, I know that with your sister, I had to rinse everything like 2 or 3 times when I did laundry to get any residues of laundry detergent out of, until we got her eczema under control.
Right. So. And to reiterate, it's an overreaction. So with all those allergies, our body is overreacting to what is occurring. And then we need to get our bodies back into balance so that we are not overreacting to regular stimuli.
Right. So we're talking about overreacting immune function. So that's what we're talking about here. So what would be conditions of an overactive immune system? Allergies, asthma, chronic runny nose. We call that rhinitis. Lots of grandmas have that. They always have Kleenex stuffed up their sleeve.
Yes.
That's an overreactive immune system. Autoimmune diseases like MS, scleroderma, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, type 1 diabetes. All these things are overactive immune system. You know, I think I said allergies already. And then an underactive immune system is cancer, viral infections, bacterial infections, fungal infections, you know, the people who have the toe fungus, People who have parasitic infections that are just not going away. These are all an underactive immune system. Your immune system's job is to keep you healthy.
Yes.
So if you've got this overactive or underactive, it's because your immune system is just on total onslaught and has not been able to deal with your stressful life, the food you eat, and all of the thousands of environmental toxins that we're exposed to. So we need to give it a little bit of help. It's why we take things like vitamin C. People always, when I ask people, what do you think is an immune system nutrient? They go vitamin C. And I'm like, it is, but Moducare is about 2,000 times more powerful than vitamin C at getting your immune system balanced.
Yes.
And, I just think about all the people who were on chemotherapy when I used to do a lot of talks on the immune system. When my first book came out, I traveled all over the world talking about the immune system. And this was back in the day when AIDS was big. So everybody was worried about, things like HIV and AIDS at the time. And you just think about how we can get our immune system stronger and better. But a lot of people used to think, I take vitamin C for my immune system. Well, you need vitamin C because our bodies don't make it. We have to get it from food. And KidStar has the best tangerine vitamin C, and it's a buffered vitamin C. And I was just listening to Dr. Russell Jaffe, PhD, talk about vitamin C the other day, and he's like, the vitamin C has to be in the ascorbate form, and it has to be buffered, meaning it's attached to a mineral, because then it is already able to be utilized by the body. And your vitamin C is so nice. So take Moducare and vitamin C and the multivitamin, and your immune system is going to be a lot happier.
Yes. And we can't forget about vitamin D, even in the summer. Even here in Canada, you have to actually have your skin exposed in the summer to get vitamin D from the sun, which we don't do. We have hats, we have sunscreen, we have sun shirts, we're inside, it's too hot, we don't want to burn. So,
we don't want to wrinkle.
Take our vitamin D.
And all the women now are like covered up because we don't want to wrinkle.
Yes.
So we know that too much sun. I think the sun is our friend. So it's just, we don't want to get sunburns.
Yes. Yeah.
And, but yes, I mean, when we talk about vitamin D, in Canada here in the winter, we should be taking 5,000 IUs of vitamin D per day. In the summer, if you go and look at the Health Canada dose for adults, they finally increased the dose. Our daily dose of vitamin D3 is 2,500 milligrams a day. So if you stop taking your vitamin D in the summer, and then you go back in the winter, it's going to take you several months. And vitamin D is the only vitamin that acts like a hormone in the body. It is known to prevent breast and prostate cancer, and colon cancer. So, everybody should be on vitamin D from the time they are born. That's why we have baby D drops and why you have kids vitamin D. Your vitamin D3 spray is awesome. So much fun and very yummy. If you're of my age group, you probably remember the creamsicle, which was so yummy. And that's what it tastes like, because you've got this awesome organic orange that you're using in some of your supplements. It's just so good.
Yes. And so I wanted to also point out with Moducare, you take it all year round. You do not have to stop taking it. It is a daily immune nutrient, correct?
Yeah, you take it every single day. And, if you're a teacher listening to this right now, you better start now so that you get your immune system balanced by September. If you get fall allergies, a lot of people get hay fever in the fall, in September, October. You need to start Moducare now. You've got to get a head start on it. It doesn't work like Reactin. It's not 20 minutes later and your allergies go away. This is correcting the underlying issues with your immune system and giving it the support it needs. And, if you're a mom listening to this, because I'm sure you're going to post it on KidStar as well, you want to get your kids in great tip-top shape for September when they all go back to school.
Yes. And there's, of course, a chewable form of Moducare, and there's a capsule. So you can either swallow the veggie cap or you can chew it. Adults can chew it too. It is the same dose per one chewable as it is to one vegetarian capsule. So it doesn't matter which one you take. You can also even open up the capsules and put them in something if you prefer to do it that way as well. So there's lots of options on the delivery method on how you can get the supplement into you and your family, which is great. And of course, there's no sugar, no artificial colors or flavors, no junk in the products. So, which I always thought was crazy. People would make immune supplements and then cover them with sugar and artificial things, and I just couldn't understand it.
Oh, I'll add to that. 1 teaspoon of white sugar will shut off your virus-fighting cells for 5 to 6 hours.
It's just insane.
1 teaspoon. So think about all those sugar-laden freezies that kids are consuming right now across the country, because those are causing their immune system to be very weak.
Yes. Yeah. We don't need it. We don't need that sugar. We don't need the artificial colors. We've found ways around it in our food and our snacks and our supplements. We no longer need to be consuming that much.
No, and you need to do an Instagram about how to make your protein smoothies into fudgicles.
I was going to say, we did do the fudgicles in the house, and it was a hit with the kids. So that's our all-in-one plant-based protein. It's got fiber, it's got veggies and fruit, algae DHEA, and of course protein from pumpkin and peas. And yeah, we add it to everything in the house, and the kids love it. It's easy, and there's no sugar. Some nice tasty treat.
Yeah. So for moms out there looking for something good for their kids for the summer, that's a great alternative to make. And how much protein in a scoop? I think it's like 10 grams or something.
It is 10 grams of protein, so it's great for the whole family.
Yeah.
You know, every
it's great.
Yeah, nice addition to your meal. So now I want to talk before we finish. If I have eczema or if I have psoriasis and I start taking Moducare, what else can I do? I know I need to make sure that my skin is still moisturized because, of course we have to seal the wounds, but what else can we do?
Well, I mean, when we look at these skin conditions, you want to look at the food you're eating.
Okay.
And pay attention, because, if you have a spaghetti dinner and the next day your skin flares up, obviously tomatoes and wheat are not a good combo for you. And if you're a mom and you see that your kids have eczema, often it's very common in kids under the age of 5. And it's almost always related to food association and the gut. So, what would I do if I had eczema? I have always recommended that people use GLA. So you can buy GLA in capsules. You can also get it in liquid. Make sure that your product is made in North America. Otherwise, you could be getting GLA that's adulterated. So you want to have GLA. I take the little capsules, pop them. They should taste good. If they have a gasoline feel to them, like kind of
they've gone on
bitter and awful, they're rancid. So pop the capsule, rub it on the eczema directly, do a little test spot. So in case your child or you has a reaction, you want to do a little test area, and then eat the GLA. This will speed the process, and also take Moducare.
Yes.
And a good probiotic, probiotics to get the good guys in your gut working. So those 3 things, GLA, probiotics, and Moducare, will be your eczema and psoriasis treatment. Topically, if you can find Celadrin 10% cream on the market, I would use that as well, because they did clinical research in psoriasis sufferers who had failed all drug treatments.
Wow.
And they applied Celadrin topically to the psoriasis, and within weeks it had improved. So, that would be another thing that I would add to it. But, remember, it's all about what we eat.
Yes.
So if, really pay attention to what's causing your skin to flare up. I know somebody just told me they learned that tuna, which they were eating tuna every day, in tuna sandwiches and things like that, that tuna was causing their eczema to flare up. So, pay attention to what makes it worse, and, change your laundry detergent so it's clean, rinse things a couple of times so that, just reduce the toxic load in your environment as much as you possibly can. And if you've got a kid with asthma, they definitely need to be taking things like Moducare. There's also a product out there called Overactive, which works very well. Same with quercetin. So there's other things you can add to it. And if you go to my website at lornahealth.com, you'll find all kinds of recommendations to add to the treatments that we've been talking about.
Because as we're balancing our immune system, we also want to support it. So having all the options available to us is very important, because, you know, as I said at the beginning, you know, it's very self-conscious when you have these skin conditions, and especially in the summer when you can't hide under clothing, which we don't want to have to do. We want to make sure that we can be out there. We don't want to think about the clothing choices we're choosing because of our skin conditions. You know, we shouldn't have to do that anymore.
Plus, it's completely irritating. I mean, if you have eczema around your eyes, it doesn't look good, but it feels awful. And even rosacea, which is another skin condition that is rooted in inflammation. Mm-hmm. So we've got to get that inflammation under control, and skin inflammation shows up. You know, that's why when you get acne, and the acne, the big whiteheads or the bumps under the skin are so red. Yeah. They're totally inflamed. And again, back to the fact that, you know, just to do a quick recap before we finish up, is that Moducare balances the immune system. So if you have an overactive immune system, it calms it down. Overactive conditions are things like allergies, asthma, eczema, psoriasis, autoimmune disorders, rheumatoid arthritis. So all of those overactive, and the list is long. And then underactive immune system is colds and flus. And in the overactive side, joint pain. So, you know, if you've got a lot of joint pain, this is also inflammation and overactive immunity. And of course, if you're dealing with cancer, that's an underactive immune system. And we want people to take Moducare and vitamin D every day, and vitamin C. And I think you should make a little immune pack on your website with Moducare, vitamin C, and vitamin D. On it. Because those three things are really, really important. And, you know, like, and remember that Moducare lowers your cortisol, your stress hormone, just to where it needs to go, and brings your DHEA up, which is your anti-aging and immune hormone. And DHEA is also your mother hormone. So all your hormones are made from it.
Which, yeah, I know. Now I'm thinking to myself, did I take my Moducare today? Because if not, I'm going to be, it's on my list. It's normally on my desk because it is the #1 thing that I take. Even if I forget to take something else, I always remember to take my Moducare, and I definitely take the chewable. It's my favorite. So don't forget, you can take either one. You do not have to take the vegetarian capsule just because it says 18 and up. You can have the chewable as well. So I want to say thank you very much to Lorna Vanderhaeghe for being here today on our Moducare Instagram Live. Do make sure you're following her as well. It's at Lorna Vanderhaeghe. And then we also have at KidStar Nutrients. So give us all a follow, and we will see you on our next Instagram Live. Have an amazing Tuesday. See you guys.
Bye. Bye.